So they've used the DNA of woolly mammoth, and they have produced
So it's
a
the
meatball.
protein-based.
Okay.
It's a woolly mammoth meatball.
Put some barbecue sauce.
Like, guys,
It's a meatball.
I don't think I need to say more than that. Okay. Episode 52. We're getting right into it, guys.
Oh, my computer.
Are you ready?
Yeah. What's up?
Okay.
Welcome back, Isaiah and Josh.
Yeah. PTO overlapped. Never again.
Denied.
This week,
Yo.
Yellowbird, baby.
Yeah, I was gonna look for a picture in my Photos app because I think I've had this before.
You've had Yellowbird
I
before.
think so. I could be wrong. I'll check after the show.
All right, well then you get none of it.
Yeah.
There's really no great story on this bottle as to why I picked
very
it.
spring
I'd
looking.
never seen it before. The branding caught my eye, as you can see.
Yeah, it's a very nice looking bottle.
It's a nice looking bottle.
Very.
Now I'm going to be honest. This isn't the most expensive bottle out there. This is a pretty entry level range. It's like
29?
early. No, not early. What am I saying? 30s, mid 30s.
Not bad.
Not bad. But let's see what's up. We're going to give it a shot.
Let's see what's up.
I don't know. You know, it's like the price of a bottle of Bullet.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, well, it's 29 to 34, depending on where you are.
That's right. Okay, cool. Percentage of the proceeds from the sale of each bottle of Yellowbird Tennessee whiskey will be donated to the National
Honor Society.
Audubon Society to help fund initiatives that support birds in their natural habitats. Audubon, is that right, Josh?
That is correct.
All right.
Nice.
Let's go.
I just recently bought binoculars to look at birds.
Bird watching these days, eh?
Yeah.
What inspired you?
I
You
went
got
to...
a lot of pretty birds at your house, or
Nah, I'm just kind of like nosy about what's going on in the trees.
with the neighbors?
No, like the actual trees. I like kind of... Birds
So
are always
you-
doing stuff.
Are you here for the birds, or is there something going on in your trees?
No, the birds are always doing stuff, and I just kind of want to like...
You don't trust them.
what are y'all up to up there?
Bird things.
I went
I'll tell you
to
that
my brother-in-law's house, and his mother-in-law was there, and she had like these really dope binoculars, and she like looks at this tree that's like half a mile down, like from their property.
Yeah.
And there's like a groundhog or something that lives in it, so she just like watches him, and I was like, I
It's
gotta,
ironic, a groundhog in a tree.
or something like that, like some type of animal. I can't remember. what
Tree
she said.
hog. It's gotta
Something,
be.
some weird little something that belongs. It's like goes in this whole
I got you.
David and the Gnome type.
It's fine.
Nonsense.
I'm here for it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It tracks. All right.
Cool story. Now we can start recording.
Let's dive. While this passes its way around, makes its way around. Let's get into the first topic here. This is a episode. We're off to the races here.
Yeah, we're talking about Jennifer Aniston.
Okay, so there's a lot of interesting pieces on this week's news docket. Kind of a slow week. So Jennifer Aniston recently was on an article where she was kind of reflecting on Friends, the TV show, and basically two comments that stood out. One was essentially the lack of diversity on the show, right? Kind of infamously not very diverse show. And she felt also that a lot of the topics that were dealt with on the show would not be, well received in today's culture, climate, etc. So I was curious. Did you watch Friends? Like, are you a Friends person?
Yes and no. Friends, I didn't really get into until I was an adult.
Okay.
I mean, it was always kind of on and around as a child.
Sure.
But it was one of those shows that was just kind of like always on in syndication.
Yeah.
And then as I got older, you're kind of like, all right, this is on. Like, I'll just watch it. So I'm very familiar with like the storylines, the dynamics, like who the characters are.
But you're not somebody who's like watched it season 1 through
Nah.
10. You've not seen every episode.
Not every.
Okay, so not that dialed in.
No.
But like you're familiar with the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you weren't were you watching it at all when it was on TV? When it was like kind of
I remember it being
like
on TV.
being like
Yeah.
not live, but you know what I'm saying.
9:00 on whatever Wednesdays.
Sure.
Yeah. I remember the reiteration, like the change in like the beginning sequence when they went from like, oh, regular clothes, now we're all wearing all white button ups and shit.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna ask some questions
Okay.
at the risk of getting in trouble.
Sure, that's what we're here for.
Yeah. So sometimes I feel as if some issues get kind of conflated, perhaps, beyond maybe what the reality is. So, like, as a black friend of mine,
Hey, man.
do you remember like watching? Do you remember seeing Friends or seeing episodes of Friends and being like bothered by the lack of diversity, or did you just watch Friends and like enjoy Friends?
I think, okay, that's a layered question, and I have a layered answer for
Let's
it.
go, dude.
I think part of it is there's for you guys, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like for you guys, there's this culture, right? There's just stuff and it's culture, and pretty much the mainstream things that are most popular are the culture, right? Where for the microcosm of Black community, Latino community, or whatever community you identify with, you have to identify with that culture, your immediate culture, and then the overall overarching culture, which is pop culture, right? So we're seeing we're seeing it in multiple lenses where it's just culture for you guys. You guys,
Yeah.
you're just seeing it, right?
Yeah.
So to the point of Friends, for us, as you know, black guy, black community, Friends, there's Friends, and then there's the conversation of where Friends was inspired, right? And this is also to the Jennifer Aniston point, because I think this also relates to an article that David Schwimmer did where he was kind of asked the same question, and he had got some feedback from like a black journalist or something like that, and they were just like, oh, you need to, and I was like, I don't think David Schwimmer and I don't think Jennifer Aniston said anything wrong, right? I think they were just existing in what they know, and I think sometimes we need to just kind of identify that not being seen doesn't mean you're being excluded, right? And because the person didn't see you doesn't mean that they need to be attacked for you not being seen. And we talk about it all the time. I think sometimes it's just about educating, right? It's just about educating and saying like, that's here. We'll also like, look at this, right? And there was a show that relates to this point called Living Single, right? And it aired on Fox. It fell in the same block as Martin. And there is a lot of conversation that this was the inspiration for Friends. I believe there was a gentleman that worked at NBC, and he was the guy that would come up with concept for shows, right? And then he was like, oh, this is dope. I just need to rework it and make it work for like white culture. Not white culture, but like mainstream culture. So to your point, like, yes, and kind of like, yes and no. Like, I don't feel like Friends was like excluding. I do in some points see, but like I see like what they were trying to do. And I think as a mainstream show where that audience is primarily white, like sprinkling in like one or two black actors is just like, it is what it is. Like, it is a actual reflection of like a group of white friends having like one or two black friends like come in and out, right? Where it's the same with the black shows, right? We have like one or two white actors who kind of interject in here and there, right? It's just, I think just because it doesn't have in the immediate diversity doesn't mean it's excluding. So that's where I don't think anyone is wrong for how the show was made, was curated. And even David Schwimmer has gone on and like on record saying like, you know, I push for like Ross dating women of color. We push for, so like it really, it did its job from the lens that it could do. I don't think, are some of the like the storylines not relatable because I'm a black man. Like, yeah, like whatever. We have shows that you don't identify with because it's a black narrative, and you'll ask me, you'll be like, yo, like what's going on? Like, and I'll clearly. So I just think it's more about like just educating and being less sensitive about things that aren't immediately made for you. Everything doesn't have to be made for you. And I even said this about Miss Marvel. I was like, I enjoyed it. I just don't think it was made for me. So a lot of stuff I didn't identify with. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, it's okay to not identify with something. It's okay to not understand something, but still like it. You know what I mean? So, I just think people are being a little too sensitive.
So you feel like the criticisms are not, like, they're not inaccurate, but there might not be as much there.
Yeah, I think the anger.
Some maybe intend.
You can point something out, but I think that if there's anger behind it, I think that's more of like a selfishness of wanting to be seen than just accepting it for what it is. You know what I mean? That's just my take. I don't think anybody did anything wrong.
All right.
Did you like Friends?
I did like Friends. I enjoyed it. My older brother watched Friends a lot when I was younger, and then I got into it a little bit by proxy. And I've seen the whole thing. I did not watch it when it was live on TV. I was a little young. And as somebody who's seen the full thing, I can certainly say there are many episodes that probably would not hold up today.
Yeah. Like, I see
most shows from that time probably have episodes that don't hold up. Obviously, some shows more than others. I'm sure Seinfeld has a couple of episodes that are maybe a little dicey.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think everyone does.
I mean, they literally have an episode on Seinfeld called like Soup Nazi. Like, you know what I mean? And it was funny at the time. And I don't think you could name an episode of your sitcom that now, given like, the rhetoric behind anti-Semitism. But, at the time it was funny. It was funny. I'm not going to say people were less sensitive, but, you get like, now you got like, woke culture and cancel culture and this is culture and like all that, and that contributes to like what can pass and like what can't. So
yeah, it does seem as if like some shows they kind of go a little hard the other way, maybe. Yeah. Like I feel like they've brought so much into it now. Like they've brought so many different like components to it, characters, like diversities, like all kinds of stuff, different. Like it almost feels a little forced at times, where you kind of just can see what they're trying to do in a way.
I think that's even more like I think that's just indicative of like inclusion. Yeah, like I hate like diversity inclusion. Like yes, it's absolutely necessary. Like some people grow up in like middle America and like never seen a black person at all or a person of color, and like they don't understand like certain cultures. Right?
You don't want to be seen as not inclusive,
right?
That's
what
like
I'm saying?
the
but
stain
like
that you can't.
Overarching diversity inclusion is just also like, like it is like it's sometimes it can be like that's not believable, dude. Yeah. Like that can't like that's not. Yeah. Like what did I say about like that Disney movie, Strange World? Like we're getting to the point where we got like, multiracial families and like, the LGBTQ couple like down the street and the three-legged dog. Like we got everything, like covering all the bases. That's right. And I just don't think, I mean, it is like, it's necessary, but I also don't think like it, like you don't gotta like dump it on our heads. Like,
there's more like
we can see it.
There's
all
more
over
organic
the world
ways.
Yeah, there's more organic ways to do
bringing it all together.
Yeah,
for sure.
You don't got to dump like all the cereals in one bowl. And eat them.
I get
you know
that.
what I'm saying?
Did Seinfeld ever have issues with diversity things? Anybody ever call that out?
They tried to.
I feel like
once.
I don't know if I've seen every Seinfeld episode, but I don't remember there being like.
I don't think there. No, there was definitely like some black people on Seinfeld. What's his name? What is he does?
But in kind of like supplemental roles, was there ever like a full time black character on Seinfeld?
No, and I think Seinfeld kind of got away with it because they were Jewish. You know what I mean? So like that, they kind of stayed in that pocket of already being like
minority.
Yeah. There you go. Being like a minority culture. So I mean, and that's just funny because like you think of especially like in my adulthood, and I look back at these shows and like in the guise of like comparison, right? Like you have like Living Single and then Friends, and then you have like Martin, and then you have Seinfeld, and they're literally like the exact same shows, and like, but they're just made for the different cultures, right? And like I don't think anything is wrong with that.
Sure.
You know, like most people don't want to watch something they don't identify with. They want to laugh, and it's cool. Like if you have more of a, you know, a wider palette for, you know, whatever you like, yeah, it's fine. But like most of the time people do just want to watch what they identify with. Right? Like, and you know, for someone, and then sometimes you just live your life and you end up learning that this does apply to you. You know, like I didn't really get into Seinfeld until I moved to New York, and then I binged all 12 seasons because now the comedy makes sense because it's about just living in New York, right? Where like a lot of the storylines in Martin are just about like being a struggling Black guy trying to like make it in the world, and then like having like all these friends. So it's kind of the same type of narrative, just kind of like catered specifically for, you know, those cultures. That's all.
All right. Very good. We're telling Jennifer not to beat herself up too much.
Who?
Said you're telling Jennifer not to beat herself up too much.
Come on, Jenny. Come on. Like what Friends did when it was on was great. Like don't
Good for what it was.
Don't let the haters like
bring you down.
Yeah. Like now, like 20 years later, you got all these people who are like woke and want to like beat you up about something you did 25 years ago. Like, yo, she was like 25 on a show making $1 million a week. Like, she didn't
tell me you wouldn't do the same.
But at the same point, I feel like maybe coming out and making these comments is her way of being in the spotlight. I mean, I'm not saying like from a greedy kind of selfish kind of point of view, but if you can go, oh, I think that was a little racist what I did back there, then everybody's like, oh, look at her. That too.
You know
what I mean?
Yeah. It's kind of being apologetic about like something I wasn't totally familiar with when I was doing it. So all right, cool. Yeah, I mean, you know, this is to the same conversation about Tropic Thunder that came out like a couple weeks ago, and Ben Stiller was like, I don't apologize for any of it. You know, like what?
To be clear, I think Tropic Thunder and Friends are maybe a little different.
Well, in the capacity that they're absolutely different. Like, but in the capacity of like we just were making comedy back then.
Yeah,
and
for sure,
no one was offended when we were making it, and if they are now, like we're sorry, but like we were all okay with it, and it was fun.
Yeah.
So, and like
it's like any Mel Brooks film.
Yeah,
and if you've never seen Blazing Saddles, I highly recommend it.
God.
And like, if you watch the movie, there's context of why he's doing, like why he's saying he's doing it. So you can't just look at it for surface level and say that's Robert Downey Jr. in blackface. Like you got to watch the movie to understand.
Context is very key.
Yeah.
Correct. In that situation, for sure.
So yeah, I wouldn't apologize either.
All right, man. Well, what's next?
Courtney does blackface all the time.
That's what I'm told.
I'm not actually black.
Next up is AI.
Oh, all right.
Speaking of, I'm actually a robot doing blackface.
This really has very little to do with our show concept, but I feel like everybody's been talking about AI a lot lately. I feel like Josh can kind of get excited about this, but
it's time.
It's time.
Robots.
Everybody's very hyped up about it. I'm seeing a lot of articles about it. ChatGPT, big thing. I've tried it out. I've used it. It's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun. No big
fun.
deal.
No
Whatever.
big deal.
I'm working here.
And so, but apparently there's like this big, coalition of tech entrepreneurs, big wigs, Steve Wozniak, the old Elon Musk.
They think it's getting too smart.
Well, they've put forward, I guess, a document that they've all signed, basically saying, y'all got to pump the brakes on this AI thing. ChatGPT is as far as it can go for the time being. No. We gotta, because we don't understand how we don't really understand the capacity of ChatGPT 4 or whatever it is, essentially. And so we got to pump the brakes on this and we got to calm down, not to advance it any further in the meantime, because we got to see basically what it's capable of. A lot of concern out there.
Let's roll it back real quick.
A lot of concern out there.
Can either you or Josh, because I'm familiar with it, but can we kind of break down exactly what ChatGPT is for people who, like myself, who are just like the science behind it?
I can
Like
give
what type of computation
I can give
is
kind
it?
of a rough overview, and then maybe Josh can do some of the more specifics here. So, as my experience of ChatGPT so far is kind of like a Siri or an Alexa, where you can ask questions or you can prompt it with tasks, and it can accomplish those tasks. Now, the degree at which it can accomplish those tasks is far greater than what like Siri or Alexa would do, but more or less like it's a computer, like it's an interface online where you like go in and you'll be like, hey, like, can you do A, B, and C? And it will do whatever that thing is. You can have it write a script for you.
Right.
You can have it write a paper, or you can have it
It's
do
an
math.
advanced computation
Yes,
with
correct.
artificial intelligence.
Yes,
Gotcha.
yes. So that's kind of been my experience with it, and more or less what, I don't know. I think that's kind of like the general overview of how most people are experiencing
It's a calculator.
it. But the specifics, maybe Josh can speak to that.
Yeah, this is kind of the difference between it and a calculator. And I kind of make this, not analogy, but kind of comparison. So most modern cars have adaptive cruise control, right? You can turn it on and then they'll slow down when the car in front of you slows down, and they'll speed back up again when the car in front of you speeds up, right?
I'm tapping bumpers, baby.
All right. So there's a difference. There's a difference between that, and that's what I would say Siri or Alexa is. Okay.
Right.
They're using information and providing an answer based on that information.
Right.
Okay. Versus what self-driving purports to be, where the idea is that they have input and they can make a decision judging what they think something else is going to do. Siri says
Perpetually,
Siri
right.
says, I know the fact because I read the fact. This is the fact. ChatGPT says, I've read about this, and I can then further extrapolate based on prior knowledge, prior conversations, whatever it is.
okay.
So it's actively thinking, in quotes.
Got you.
And if I can continue,
Oh,
the
please
letter,
do. Please do.
the summary of the letter is essentially that they don't, at this point, ChatGPT, even in the public beta that anybody can go into for free, is exceptionally good at menial human tasks. You can ask it questions, but more powerful, you can ask it how to do something in code, and it'll provide you that code and the explanation.
Code, yeah.
So the fear is that certain jobs like administrative staff,
I see where this
legal
is going. Yeah.
are
Okay.
potentially out of a job.
Yeah.
So overnight, almost, you could put millions of people out of a job, which I see, and it is very, very powerful with the new with the new GPT-4. It looks incredible, and I do see that happening at some point soon. I don't know if a 6-month pause is going to do anything for that.
So the
but-
conspiracy theory side of me, which I love a good conspiracy theory. I feel like I know there's the recession and all these tech jobs, and they're laying all these people off, and they're doing all this stuff.
I think it's because of
There's a part of me that wonders if some of that was. I know that again. I know there's like a big money thing here, and there's markets and whatnot that are playing into this. But some of me wonders if like people high up know like AI is here, baby. We got the jump on that, so we're gonna start phasing out some of these roles because we know in 6 months
we can automate it.
We can transition all that over to automation. So we're going to use cloud cover of a recession. Oh, we hired too many people during COVID. We did this, we did that. We got to, whatever.
I think that's more what it is.
But they know.
Yeah, they know.
Like they saw that, you know what I mean? Like they saw the forest for the trees kind of thing. And
Yep.
they're just like pre-gaming right now.
Yeah, I certainly see that as being possible. I also feel like ChatGPT and OpenAI, specifically this company that's doing it, almost kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, prior to maybe 3 or 4 months ago, I don't think I'd ever heard of them.
all of a sudden, there's
And-
get in here. Like I learned about it via like I think it was like Discord or like Reddit or something like that. Like ChatGPT, like whatever.
The AI generated images is I feel like what kicked this whole thing off.
Yeah.
On a pop
everybody
culture,
being like a space cadet
pop
on
culture
Instagram?
level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, everybody was like a Pixar character, right? Looked
Everybody
they
had
were out of The
elf
Witcher.
ears, or they were in like an astronaut.
And everybody was telling me, oh, a computer did this. You just upload a bunch of your photos here, and it'll make you look like.
I'm just going to submit my face
Some
to
kind of
this
mystical being,
artificial
right?
intelligence.
So I feel like that's really what kicked off this whole pop culture fascination with the whole artificial intelligence thing. I'm sure that, that it all coincides or whatever, but I don't know when did ChatGPT 3 come out? Because I'm sure there was a
that's a good
2 and a
question.
1, and I'm sure those things were.
I think
Not as intelligent.
3, what they're on now, is the first publicly usable.
Sure.
There's been a back end for quite a while.
But did the dropping of ChatGPT 3 coincide with the hysteria around the AI thing, the artificial images, everybody making videos of, Elon Musk eating pasta, that kind of thing?
Oh, yeah, I seen the Will Smith one.
I saw the Will Smith one this
disturbing.
morning. Yeah.
It's disturbing.
The free preview of ChatGPT launched in December, but it's
Of
been a thing
22.
3 months ago. But
Okay.
it's been a thing since about 2020. It was announced in 2020.
All right. So it seems like it percolated for a few years, but it's really popped off more recently. It's not like
Yeah.
it's been out since 2007 and we just didn't know that the URL existed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Right.
it's-
Certainly.
It is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
more recent
We
thing.
didn't just discover it.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Man. Certainly. But just from my experience,
Here we are.
it's very, very powerful.
Can you do something to like? Does it have like a speaking interface?
No, it's all typing right now.
It doesn't.
I use it. I've kind of used it
Oh,
more
what have
in
you
my
been
day to
using it
day.
for?
Well, a lot of my day is programming, is
Who have you been
coding.
laying off?
Maybe myself, unfortunately.
Whose roles have you been replacing?
We'll see where that ball rolls to. But I'm working on a project right now at work to move data between 2 separate systems, and
Yeah.
assuming this, I type in assuming this system and assuming that data in this format and that format, how would I blah, blah, blah. And it'll just write out
And it's
50
right
lines
there.
of code
Wow.
that I just can copy and paste and tweak a little bit.
Yeah.
For someone who was a avid cheater in grade school.
Yeah, and that's kind of the
Finally.
other. That's the other big thing.
Oh yeah, dude. This is changing.
This
the game.
passing the bar. You've heard claims of ChatGPT passing the bar. And I was just on the website, and I can't, and I've navigated away now. They did a side-by-side comparison of this new language model, GPT-4 versus Chat, and they found with the current public beta, passing the bar exam, you're in the lower 10th percentile. With the new language model, generally it scores in the 90th percentile.
Sheesh.
The biology Olympiad, which I'm not sure what that is, ChatGPT scores in the 31st percentile, and GPT-4 scores in the 99th percentile.
Judgment Day, baby.
It's time.
Let's go.
But no,
Yeah.
the
Chat.
kids,
Let's go,
the
dude.
grade school kids are all over
Don't let
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT
yeah,
get his
dude.
hands on
I used to-
on a laser printer.
This is very similar.
3D printer.
I used to cut the multiplication.
Come on, baby. Come on.
dude.
Second one this evening.
Second one this evening. Listen, it's late, man. It's past my bedtime.
ChatGPT
Y'all
is gonna replace us.
Y'all starting this late. I used to cut those tables out of the back of my composition notebooks, and I would hide them in my sleeves, and that's how I would do my math test when I was a little,
And
Take
that's
that
why
bad boy in the bottom of your shoe, bro.
that's why he's an artist now.
That's right. dude.
Artist.
That's why I play with videos now. Math was never my strong suit. Let me tell you.
What? I took one in college. I barely passed that one.
Remember those teachers that used to give you like the index cards, and they would say if you could
Fill
write
the whole
notes?
thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, I was great at that.
Yeah.
I had very small.
I'm gonna
handwriting.
write very small. I can fit as much.
What
Multiplication.
code can I come up with here to optimize this space?
Multiplication tables.
Yeah.
I'll get it right one of these times.
Yeah.
Remember those multiplication drills in like the second, third grade? 2-minute drill.
2-minute drill, 50,
This
50
is-
on one
that's-
side.
Yeah, that's
Also,
how anxiety was created. You giving us
We
a pop
kind
quiz.
of grew up. I'm not going to go on like a whole fucking soapbox about how we grew up during the worst generation or whatever, but
We did.
From an educational perspective, kind of the worst timeline because everything in school that they taught you, they were like, you're never going to have access to any of this stuff at your fingertips. And literally with every year that went
All
by,
here.
it was just all here. So we
All the
spent
stuff.
basically 12 years learning nothing.
Nothing that was useful. I learned how to write in cursive. People can't even read it.
Oh my gosh. Cursive was such a thing.
Nobody
Remember
can read it
all
now.
of the time I spent in grade school doing that stuff, and it's
In
all
the calligraphy.
useless.
Yeah.
Useless. What is school like now? What are they teaching you now?
How to put
Anything?
the SIM card in the
Computers.
back of
Same
your
thing.
head.
Bad handwriting.
How to reboot your iPhone? What are they teaching you now?
It should just be like genius training. Like,
Yeah. Like, what's geography class like? Google Maps? How to use it?
I think that's essentially like what school is gonna turn into, rather than educating you on like what it is, teaching you on how to use the tools to get to the answer of what it is.
Yeah,
rather
and
than-
that's the thing that I have so much like Common Core. I have absolutely no idea. I've seen like examples of Common Core, and there's no way I can possibly do it. What I'm told is for a young brain that's learning, that's the best way to learn it to then be able to do it better. But I'm already past that point.
Yeah, my
So
brain is shrinking. It's
now,
already
you,
growing.
now you're at the point where like if you're a parent and you've got a child, you can't really help them because you have already mastered this skill a totally different way.
Yeah.
I remember one time I was helping my little sister. This is when she was first learning like.
Hey, you guys
division.
aren't that far in age.
No, we're 8 years apart.
Yeah, like that's-
And I was teaching. She was learning division, and I was trying to help her. But the way that the school taught her how to do
Yeah.
it was not the way
Nope.
I learned it. So I'm, long division, short division, like that type of thing.
doesn't exist anymore.
No.
Yeah.
No. I was like, why don't you just do? Because we
That's
don't do
not how
this.
we're
in school.
taught.
So how do you guys do this? This doesn't make sense to me.
No. What did the dad in Incredibles say? He said, "When did math stop being math?" Like, and that's true. Like
I feel like you just need to know like the basics of how things work. Like if you take 2 and you cut that in half, you got 2 ones, right, baby? Like that's how it works. Otherwise, anything more complicated than that, here's the calculator on your phone.
think
That's
that
what you're
math
going to
was
use
right.
moving forward. What do you mean it's not? If you take 2,
You split
divide
it in half, you got 2 ones.
2 ones,
that's
baby.
still two.
No, you've got
Got
2
two
ones.
ones. That's
All
still
right, let's talk about
Oh,
division
gotcha.
real quick,
Jeez.
dude.
Yeah, I got you.
Cheesy.
I mean, I'm looking like that's still 2 ones. That's still 2. You've got 2 of them.
Yo, if I give you 2 ones and you add them together, what do
That's
you got?
2. That's-
Yeah, that's my point. If I take 2 and I cut it in half, you got 2 ones. You divide it in half, split it in half.
Yeah.
There you go. But like I'm saying,
then
the
if you split
concept
it
of that,
another
you understand. I mean, you might not now, but do you understand the concept now? As I'm saying,
No,
You get
the
it?
entire concept of numbers and math gone.
So as
So-
long as you get the idea,
So one other thing that I'll like come back to here, rolling it back to this open letter.
spiraling
Okay.
right now.
Another issue that they have is trusting the information that you get and not being able to essentially losing the ability to fact check things, which as a population, we're all that way, right?
Yeah.
Not to go
We
too
didn't
deep
lose
into
it, we
that
threw it
because
away.
if you don't give it, yes, sure. If you don't give it accurate information, if you don't
basic
word
table,
the question
yeah.
correctly, an assumption could be made, which is the same with any kind of conversation. With a human, it's easy to kind of realize
Right.
that you're on different pages. But with a robot that's just typing back to you, that
And
isn't
now
always that easy to identify.
it can just make the assumption to push the red button rather than,
Sure.
something else, because you can't identify that you
What
messed
red
up,
is.
because you can't make you in your brain can't do basic math.
Sure.
Yeah.
cut 2 in half, baby.
One other thing with this letter,
God, I
there are
hate
a
that
ton of, not a ton, but there's a bunch of fake names on the list. Fake signatories. John Wick is on there. Sarah Connor.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of fake names.
I mean, Sarah Connor's all out.
I mean, there
I'd
is
be
probably a
interested-
Sarah Connor, but
She's got a valid point.
I'd be interested to see like what it could do with things that are really like subjective to human senses. So like if we ask ChatGPT, what is a 5-year-old bullet supposed to taste like?
A 5-year-old. Oh, you're
Bourbon.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for
Great.
clearing
Very
that up.
American
Dude.
of you, though. You can see the confusion here.
So confused.
So I have asked it not
Very
personal
uncomfortable
opinion
with that
questions. And generally it says I'm fact based. I can't speak for you
Right.
or anybody else.
Which is bullshit because you know that's just like a setting somewhere behind the scenes.
Yeah, of
They could
course,
flip that off
definitely.
and it would be giving
Yeah.
me all kinds of opinions.
Right.
That's the ChatGPT I want.
Go to the advanced
That's
settings.
the one that puts us out of business,
Yeah,
guys.
I want the one that's, creative. All right, what's the
I
next
want
one?
Apple to at least catch up to 2012 with Siri. That's really what
They're
I'm
too
looking for.
busy with the
is
damn
garbage.
face mask goggles or whatever. They're
Dumb.
going to be putting those things on your
God
face.
damn it, JW.
All right. Speaking of technology, TikTok is the next one up.
Ooh,
Do you want to talk about this,
baby.
or do you want to go
let's talk
on?
about this
Yellow
fancy
bird.
bottle. Yeah,
How you feeling about it? Don't hurt
I like
yourself.
it. I like it.
I've actually enjoyed it quite a
A
bit.
traditional Tennessee sour mash whiskey, robust and full-bodied, caramel and hints of baking spices with cinnamon as the prominent flavor spice, layers with pipe tobacco and vanilla with lingering, slightly smoky, oaky, fresh bread finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's not the smoothest thing ever, but the bite is subtle enough that like it's nice. Like you're drinking whiskey. It tastes like that. It
This is
feels
definitely
good.
a drink for the boys.
Yeah, it doesn't sit with you for long. It's not like, it's not stinky or anything. Like it's just good. It's nice.
Yeah, it's
nice.
a nice purchase for the price.
Yeah, I'd give it an edge on like a Bullet. It's a little nicer than that in my opinion. So I feel like the
Okay.
price point is very fair.
See where you're going.
I feel like it's a little bit more interesting. It's a little bit more flavorful
Yeah.
than a Bullet is. So at the price point, I think it's fair. I think
like
it's
the
good. I think it's a good deal, rather.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was I think $32.99.
Yeah. If this was priced
benchmark
higher,
number
I'd
8,
still
but-
be like, oh, this is good.
Yeah, if you said that was a $40 bottle or $45, I'd believe you.
Yeah.
But $32.99 is a good
I thought
deal.
I thought it was around like the regular like $45, $50 mark what we usually get. So
Hell yeah, let's go. Yellowbird, what's up?
I like
All
that.
right.
Holla at us, yellow bird.
All right.
TikTok.
Baby. Very little movie news. We're gonna get to it though.
We're gonna get
Promise.
there, guys.
I promise.
Hang with us.
This is just more pop culture stuff.
Yeah, we got the gang all here today, so we're just trying to talk it out. After we
reunion
spent
show.
an hour
That's right,
talking in the
reunion
kitchen.
show. TikTok is on the chopping block. I don't know. Did anybody watch any of the hearings on
Yeah,
TikTok?
I did,
Come on,
man.
guys. Josh, what do you do these days, man?
I'll tell you, I don't
Are
like
you
TikTok to
on
begin
Reddit
with
at all?
I
Like, what
am.
are we
I
doing,
don't like
man?
TikTok to start with, so
Are you even a real person?
robot.
I have been playing golf. I have not looked at
Josh is
any-
over here. He's like, kill it.
These guys got too much PTO. on their
I
hands.
want to know. I would love to poll some people and just kind of get a sense of because everybody in this room, 4 guys,
Am I?
yeah, elder youths,
Elder, you geriatric millennials.
are good with just axing TikTok.
yeah. It
I'm
can
sure
go.
Gen Z disagrees.
Absolutely.
But I wonder if you polled just the general public, like how many people, I know there's like a whole political thing here. Are they spying on us? Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah,
I'm just
there's
saying,
that,
how
yeah.
many people out there are just good? If you were like, we're taking TikTok away.
That's one less thing I gotta look at.
I'm good with it.
I'm
I don't-
fine with it.
Now I've been on TikTok. I've watched some videos on there. I've laughed at some videos
Absolutely.
on there. I don't know
Yeah.
what's wrong with it from that perspective. My wife uses it, but she's not a huge fan. She uses it because she feels like she has to. But how many people are using it because they feel like they have to use it?
We said something about this last week about demographics. And I think that TikTok's target demographic is definitely that younger 13
Sure.
to 18. And this comes with the wave of where apps are released. And as like a geriatric millennial, and Isaiah, you are a Gen Z, right?
Right on the cusp.
Right on the cusp.
Depending on who you ask.
Yeah,
Depending on
okay.
which one you get.
Very mature for your age. So you can say whatever you are. Very inclusive show here.
We'll allow it.
Well out. Right. And I have this conversation like with, my wife and my kids where we talk about millennials are the beginning generation of growing with technology, right? Like rather than the technology being an appendage, it's a tool for us. Where with Gen Z, where millennials, it's a tool. Gen Z, it is an absolute appendage because they never learned about its maturation. It was just given to them, and
was
now
here.
they are
Yeah.
attached to it. Yeah. And I can think of apps the same way. right? Like there was Facebook, and then there was Twitter, then there was Instagram, and now there's TikTok. And you can kind of attach each one of those in its inception to a generation. And the younger generation just happened with their adoption of technology to TikTok, right? That's the app that they grew up with now, right? For the last 5 years, if they are into technology, they all have iPhones, then there's TikTok, right? Where TikTok kind of missed us in a sense, right?
Yeah,
like
I get that.
you have to be like a person that's actively into identifying like how to use these different social medias to be someone of our age and like amassing a stupid, crazy TikTok following, right? Like you have to be an influencer to be,
it's definitely a different
right,
scene for sure.
right? Where you didn't have to be an influencer to have 20,000 Twitter followers. You just had to just be on Twitter and
Just had to be a cool guy.
just had to be a cool person, right?
Yeah.
All you had to do on Instagram was like just take nice pictures, right?
Yeah.
You know,
That's right.
when it went from the selfie and taking pictures to posting pictures, right? That's when like the kind of
That's
the
when the
culture
shit,
shift
like-
of Instagram changed.
I
And
feel
then
like everybody's got their, in each generation and sub kind of generation of between millennial and Gen Z, especially being like right on the cusp of millennial and Gen Z. It's like millennial is 96, 97 is Gen Z, right? So like for us, we got to experience pretty much all the waves
yeah,
of like what technology is today outside of the .com boom. Like that's you guys' thing.
yeah, we had the .com boom, and then by the time the apps came, we were adults, and it's just like, do I have time for this or not? And if I don't, I got half a group of friends who don't even acknowledge apps exist, right?
Sure.
And then there's us, right?
Yeah.
Like we have them all, you know what I'm saying? And like you said, can TikTok go? Absolutely, because it's just. I feel
But
like-
you're using TikTok.
I am, but it's like for me, TikTok can go.
But what's your preferred social media?
Probably Instagram and Twitter.
Okay, so those are the ones you use the most.
I feel like for everyone, it's kind of like.
But I'm
IG and
also
Twitter.
like I am the kid that when I was like 11, 12, 13, when social media was like just starting out to be like a real thing. So
Yeah.
Facebook became a viable thing for everybody. MySpace, and then you had like, you know, the instant messengers like AIM and things like that.
Yeah.
But also like YouTube in 2005. I was 8 years old when YouTube came out. So like
Want to
when
buy some grapes?
it was like
Those were the first YouTube videos.
and
That's
then
just
it
what's
was like
crazy.
YouTube, and then the pirating music era, like
Yeah.
all of that stuff
Yeah.
is. I matured with the way that the internet matured. So like as videos get shorter and content gets shorter and things become easier and harder at the same time, it's like
Harder to make, but easier to digest.
and it's like it's way easier for people of my age to filter certain things out.
Yeah.
Like TikTok for us is just a wave of things that
of
we're waiting
another
to
thing
see.
that's coming,
It's
right.
constant. Like there was Vine.
Yeah.
Vine was really popular.
I already
when
forgot
was,
about Vine. Yeah.
When I
It
was
the same-
13, when I was
literally the
13,
same thing.
14
Yeah.
years old, Vine went away.
There were some
and then-
classic Vines out there.
Oh yeah. So, does anybody take issue with the Chinese component of TikTok, or are you disinterested in it just because you just don't use it? Like, do you sit back and think, "Oh man, like that is a problem that it is more or less run by the Chinese government," or do you not care about that? Like, if they were to tell you, "Hey, listen, they got all your data, dude."
Well,
Are you're just good with good with that, or are you like,
you asking Isaiah?
I'm out? I'm asking everybody.
Oh, okay.
Because we're all saying we're good without TikTok. I'm just wondering, does it have anything to do with that, or is it strictly just because we're not amused with it?
Well, because I got a political science degree,
Sure.
I'm always increasingly curious about why foreign apps,
Yeah.
specifically from our adversaries, become so popular
curious
here.
or are you anxious?
Both.
Okay.
So like TikTok can go because they are spying on us.
Yeah, of course.
But also, I'm not doing anything that if they spy on me,
Yeah.
it's going to heavily affect my life moving forward.
Right. And
but
I think
for the people that are,
the inverse to that is to the people who are. And I, believe it or not, I do have a job. And when I'm not like doing this,
Okay.
and I can't say who I work for because,
go with it.
whatever. I'm not Tommy from Martin. Like I actually do have a job. But the job I have knowledge, internal knowledge of like why this is a very important issue.
Well, we should have started with this.
Right. To Isaiah's point, like, yes,
He's on the inside.
everything that is TikTok is accused of is absolutely true.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have what is it? Evidence that they are doing it in a harmful manner? No, but it's like when someone has a key to your house that you don't really trust. It's like, I really want to get that key back, but they're kind of a friend, but I really want that key back. You know what I mean? Like, so it's also a lot of these, this is layered. So it's like a lot of these apps are based in the USA and TikTok is not, right? So if this were Snap, if it were Meta, if it were Twitter, right? The US could easily shut them down, send in the coats, pull the plug on the servers, send a cease and desist, and we're done until we figure this out, right? I mean, also feel like these technology companies, play a vested interest in politics, whatever. That's a larger conversation. But when there is an entity that has this much influence on its people that you can't control, that's where the angst comes in. Like, okay, China, we're going to find a way for you to not exist here because we can't control you. And that's really what it is.
Thing. America, the U.S., is in the softest war possible.
This is a very, 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 very,
soft
very
war.
icy cold war.
It is very soft war.
That's
with
what
China.
it is.
So when things like the mystery balloons come over and
Yeah, Josh, any updates?
What happened to them? That's so weird. I can't speak to it.
What do you know?
and it's like
Don't act all coy over there.
the U.S. we
Dutch
do
woman?
this dance with China where like China will say something and we'll threaten back or we'll put an embargo over here and
It's
we'll
a
do this
technological
thing with
Cold
that.
War, yeah.
And like TikTok is just the latest. It's probably honestly the most aggressive step because this is the first time where we can say that other than stopping direct trade, we're stopping direct import and
Influence.
export of
Yeah.
influence
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
into a culture. So now China, we limit one of the most key ways that they're getting American culture because
It's literally, they have billions of cameras in the US because of TikTok. They can literally see anything they want to see because they have a window into American culture.
Okay, so I've been like sitting like down listening in.
There
I
you go.
agree with what's been said so far.
Sitting in the wings,
there we go.
baby.
The camera into America is a big thing for me. And Isaiah, you said something along the lines of the people who have a lot to lose should, in different words, the people that have a lot to lose should stand, to have a stronger opinion on this. My point of view or my opinion on this is mainly about data security in general. TikTok is the hotness right now because of its links with the Chinese government. And banning it, sure. But to me, I think it's a bigger issue of data security.
Yeah.
They're all doing similar things.
All the apps do the same
Facebook
thing,
and
yeah.
Insta and Snap
Yeah.
and whatever it is. There are millions and millions of these cameras around.
Sure.
And I think that's the bigger issue. Yes, I support a ban on TikTok, but I think we also need to really strengthen our privacy laws because what you do on the internet is not what you do on the internet anymore. I mean, my phone tracks me wherever I go. My car does.
100%.
All of these services track me.
My
And they're-
digital footprint isn't a footprint anymore.
Yeah,
right,
It's
and they're
literally a shadow.
anonymized, but we've seen that isn't really the case. That anonymity is easily broken,
Yeah,
or easily
absolutely.
cracked.
I mean, if you got to go for a security clearance, they know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We saw, and I was talking to DeMarco actually about this a few months back or a while back. Some local news, and I can find the source to back it up. But one of the local news stations did a thing on anonymous data,
WBAL,
kind of like
crime
I-Team
eye.
investigates, one of those things, right?
Guys, so
Project
bad.
Baltimore.
And they
Project Baltimore.
they bought data from an aggregation company, ad aggregation company, and the most specific that they could get was by either zip code or by county. And I know that that's a big distinction to make, but whatever it was. And essentially using data from several different providers, they were able to piece together who the data was, even though they were just given randomized
Like who the data
identifiers.
came from.
Correct. And they went to this person's door and like, hi, this is, Steve Johnson from I-Team Investigates.
And you buy Frosted Flakes every Sunday. Like,
Right,
why?
essentially
Why
that.
are you doing that?
Right.
weirdo?
So even by even by anonymizing data, it's still not truly anonymous because there's so
You
many
can
other
like
pieces,
cross-reference
so much
the
metadata
data
that can
to
be put
kind of
together.
single people out.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
And so to end it, my opinion, my biggest thing is just legislation in general. We care about it because it's China right now. We don't care about Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is, but I think we should.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it just makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that is generally the leading legislation.
A lot of money outside
resistance
of
to
the US.
And here's the thing where I think more people will be willing to support a TikTok ban, because TikTok was the first time you could see like tangibly that like your phone was always listening to you. You could have a conversation about something and then get on TikTok, and whatever the topic of that
microphone's
conversation
always
was,
on. It's aggregating that data.
it's
funneling
coming
it right
to your
into the
TikTok
app,
feed.
and then now the app is targeting your algorithm based on what it's hearing and what it's subtly bringing in.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like there's like a little man in there like with his earpiece like
Figuring it all out.
waiting for you to say something incriminating, but it's catching phrases, it's catching words, piecing those things together, and then presenting it back to you like, hey, you need a mop. And like, you see the memes where it's just like, when I was, my phone was showing me what I was thinking. You were talking about it out loud. And,
So to put a bow on all this before we spend too
actually
much
talk
time on
about
TikTok,
movies.
one of the aspects to this that I find interesting is there are some studies out there that basically indicate that first of all, the TikTok user experience in America is significantly different than the one that's in China. Like it's worlds apart.
I never thought about that.
And the influence that TikTok has, or that China has over TikTok, is impacting the younger generation in the United States, and it's basically influencing them to have a negative perspective on America. It's kind of like anti-America rhetoric, and it's kind of
Propagandism.
fueling this perspective that like America's terrible, America sucks. So there are some studies that kind of suggest that if you look at ages and how it correlates to their opinion or perspective of America, the younger you get, the worse it is. So some people feel as if that's also a big factor here in the TikTok thing, that like China is kind of, tuned the American version of TikTok to really favor themselves over,
It's like a bad America montage in a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
where you
Anyway,
see flags
just,
burning and
something to
death
chew on,
and murder
people.
and
But let's get this thing moving. What do we got next?
Yeah, I just want to bring up one last
Yeah,
thing here.
fire away. Yeah,
So, Social Sphere, and I'm reading through this, did what to me appears to be a very comprehensive survey of 60 some questions, 65 questions to Gen Z and millennial. And the questions are all over the place. What are your hobbies and interests? All the way to how do you feel about the president and the job he's doing and whatever it is, approval rating.
Of course.
But the root of it is to establish links between people who favor a ban on TikTok and people that don't,
right.
and what their common interests are.
Please send me that.
So in this survey, question 40 is what social media do you feel is addictive? TikTok rates highly in all age groups, 49%, compared to the next, which is Facebook at 14%.
Oh, wow.
For Gen Z, 65% of respondents said it was addictive versus 45% in millennials. However, they find that Gen Z generally opposes a ban versus millennial who generally do. Overall, 46% of all respondents versus 38% support a ban. But when it gets to Gen Z, only 34% support a ban versus 49% in millennials.
Of course they do.
So the younger generation that's using TikTok more actively, feels like it's more addictive. Generally, like you said, generally has a more negative outlook on the government, the U.S. government. However, they also broadly are against a ban.
Damn.
Of course they are. It's legitimately the first social media that Gen Z can call their own.
Yeah.
We inherited everything else.
Yeah. That's another question. Which social media divides people? Twitter was the highest, I think, probably because of this. But the question that I'm now looking for is which one is least understood by older people?
TikTok.
36% of all respondents said TikTok compared to the next Snapchat at 19%. And Gen Z agreed. 40% Gen Z said versus 34%.
I couldn't make a good TikTok to save my life. If they locked me in a room and said, if I was a prisoner of war and they was like, make us a funny TikTok.
Dude, you're never getting out.
I'm never getting out.
Just accept it.
I'll be cooked.
All right. So we're 50 minutes in. It's been race, science, politics, baby. What do we got next?
House of the Dragon, season 2.
Hell
Let's go.
yeah.
Science fiction.
That's
yeah,
right,
let's go.
So this isn't super exciting, although they did confirm a summer 2024 time frame for season 2. They have scaled back from 10 episodes to 8. They insist that it is not budget related, but it is story driven.
Perfect.
I'm a little salty
Perfect.
just because I feel like,
You want those extra 2 weeks?
well, I mean, I don't know. I'm here for it, man. It's a good show. It's HBO. We've got the budget. You're taking 2 years to make the thing. Like, let's
Slow me down.
everybody's doing this now. Everybody's scaling back.
Pandemic's over. We got to scale back.
No, I disagree.
Go back.
No.
Like, this is, first of all,
Just don't scale back work from home.
it's
Other than
HBO,
that,
dude.
scale
It's
back everything else.
HBO. Like, let's pay for the shows. Let's get the shows done. You're taking
Yeah.
everything from me. Eggs are like $6 a carton. You're taking everything from me. Now I get 8 episodes, not 10. It used to be 24 episodes.
All right, let me ask you a question about that.
Remember when primetime TV was like 24 episodes?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Now we're down to 8. We're down to 8. What is this?
About the eggs, do you buy organic or you buying like,
Eggs?
yeah.
Oh, I'm all over the board, dude. I don't really question eggs that heavily.
Organic eggs never went up in price. The brown ones, they never went up eggs. They never
Well,
went up.
brown one doesn't necessarily mean that they're organic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's labeled organic.
And
They
also-
stayed at $3.99
I
or
don't think that the
$4.99.
organic labeling actually is backed by anything that's like
Nope, not at all.
legitimate.
I agree with
and
that.
I'm
And
just
brown
putting that out
eggs
there.
and white eggs are the exact same eggs.
Yeah, correct.
It's just a genetic mutation in the egg in the shell color.
And they stayed
Yeah,
$4.99.
I believe so, too.
So just eat brown eggs. But go ahead.
And no, I don't even know where my train of thought is just all over. The
Now
place
that you
right
now that you forgot,
talking
I'll
about-
give you
we're
I'll give you
Scale
an,
back the
Talking
show.
about eggs.
I'll give you
dude.
an Eggland's Best thing here. I don't
Talking
know if
about
it's
eggs,
still the
bro.
case, but years ago, Eggland's Best, which you may see like interstitial ads during primetime
Yeah.
TV, it's just a machine that stamps it. They are manufactured or they're laid by thousands of farms across the country.
Of course.
And it's been attested to that at least several plants will just, like, they have a quota, 70% of them have to be labeled Eggland's Best, and then they'll just shut the stamper machine off.
And then
they're
the
not Eggland, they're just regular eggs at that
There's
point.
regular eggs
Damn.
now. Yeah. So anyway, back to
You said
HBO.
24 to 8 shows.
They're
Prime time.
scrimping on the TV shows now, man. The episodes. They're not giving me what I paid
I mean,
for.
network TV still does crazy long seasons, but it's not as good.
No, I'm not watching that stuff though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not watching like the
HBO,
what's the-
listen.
Do you think he's watching regular television?
Come on. HBO, dude, here's the thing.
Him and my grandma.
If the neighbor can turn Channel 11 on, there's no way he's ever going to be on Channel 11.
Listen, guys, let's back up here. First of all, commercials, I don't know when's the last time you watched them, but they suck more now than they ever did before. When I was a kid, it was like I was used to them, but now it's like, wait, what is happening?
Liberty.
Yeah,
I do love Liberty.
I've never been so mad to see a commercial.
Ah, God, commercials just
commercials
drive
stink.
me nuts.
Even the Super Bowl commercials are not even good anymore.
No,
Yeah.
I don't want to see any of them ever again. And when they pop up, it drives me nuts. Anyway,
But-
that's more so why I don't consider like I don't want to watch primetime TV shows because I don't want to deal with the commercials. I don't like it. It just bothers me. I go straight to Netflix or whatever. Like that's where I'm going.
Also, we are, millennial Gen Z of that culture where I will wait for the show to be streaming so I don't have to do the commercials.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's on network TV, like Snowfall,
What's-
Abbott Elementary.
How great is Snowfall?
SNL.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that ends my line of questions.
Yeah, it's very, very well written.
Snowfall's
and
different though because it's on a network that makes awesome shows.
They do.
FX makes good shows.
FX is,
But Abbott, for example,
watch Abbott.
Abbott is NBC, right? ABC.
Sure.
ABC.
And I'll wait till it's on Hulu to watch
I
it.
also wait until it's on Hulu
This guy.
to not
I
watch
already,
commercials.
I already outed you last week. You already outed you.
So you're good. You're good with 8 episodes. You're saying
Yeah.
shorter the better.
Just in the
HBO's not getting any cheaper, dude. I say give me the 10 episodes.
because I'm paying for it. Yeah, I mean,
I mean, it's not free.
see, and that's the scam because like they make you think I'm paying for it through something else, through my internet. So in my mind, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. But like when you put it in retrospect that, you're paying for this. Yeah, give me more since I am paying for it.
If they're gonna give me 8 episodes, they better give me 8 hour and 5-minute episodes
Hour and
to make up
5,
that time.
straight through
To make
five.
up hour and 10.
I want
to make up those 2 episodes.
7-minute credits. I wanted 1 hour and 12 minutes.
I want an hour and 10 minutes of content for 8 episodes
I'm not here for it, dude. I'm
to
pissed.
give me back
He's mad.
my time.
I'm pissed off.
Give me back my 2 hours.
I'm pissed off. I was pissed off. The Last of Us had 9 episodes. I know they took episode 1 and 2 and combined them, which is why.
Well, pilot seasons are usually shorter, but for them to come back after a 10-episode season to go to 8
Give me 10
is a little
episodes, dude.
insulting.
yeah.
It's a little
And
insulting.
like, come on.
I don't even like when a series is supposed to be like 48 minutes, like a show is supposed to be 48 minutes long runtime, and you get that one episode that's like 36 minutes.
You better write
No,
Disney
I don't like
Plus
that
a
either.
letter, bro. They are famous for that crap.
Oh, yeah, dude. The Last of Us, the last episode was like 40 minutes. I was like, wait a minute. What the
After the episode before that was like almost an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
bullshit, dude? I know you got the footage back there. I listened to the podcast. You guys talk about all the scenes you're cutting all
Oh,
the
you
time.
got 3
Stop doing
hours
it.
worth of foot. Like, just
Stop doing it.
Give me the 3-hour episode. I
God,
want it.
they're going to give me a 9-hour version of Avatar 3, yet I can't get the TV shows that I want. It's bullshit. All right, what's the next topic?
Fuck, not this. Next topic is Goodwill Hunting.
Getting too worked up. Goodwill Hunting 2.
Why?
All right, calm down. We don't got to get all worked up.
Why?
Goodwill Hunting 2. Apparently, Matt Damon says that the Goodwill
Matt
Hunting
Damon.
2 was pitched to Ben Affleck recently.
I don't know, man. They're on a
I know they're
buddies. They're good friends.
They're all gassed up. He said that there's no way in hell they're going to do it, but he did say that somebody
Leave it alone.
did approach them with a concept for Goodwill Hunting 2. I'm for it, not making it. I think they should release the concept.
Variety and
Give us
MovieWeb
the-
both say
give
it's
us-
not happening.
Give us no, I know it's not, but just give us the concept. I just want to
let
know.
us know what it's gonna be
I want to
about.
know what the pitch was. I don't need
Okay.
the movie. Just give me the pitch.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Speaking of which, you never watched the Midnight Club on Netflix, did you?
No,
The Mike Flanagan series. This is all going to make sense.
Mike
in a
Flanagan
second.
came up in my feed today. But go ahead.
Yeah, I know. He's all over the place nowadays. But Netflix did not renew that show for season 2. He's jumping ship. He's going on over to Amazon. So I think they're a little
My
salty
wife
about
watched
it.
the Midnight Club.
But the Midnight Club was his show.
Yes.
And he had written like the full series, like all of it, but they only were able to do season 1. So when they canceled the rest of it, he published all of the story arcs
story,
and all of the like content and scripts and where everybody's characters were going and like a huge thing. So you can read about what happened to everybody and how it all finishes.
That's cool.
Which I felt like that's the right way to do it.
Yeah,
So that's why I'm
pretty.
saying
That's pretty cool.
let's take this Good Will Hunting 2 thing and let's just get the scripts up or let's get the concepts up online so I can fully appreciate
You know what I liked?
the vision.
When we were like in the heart of the pandemic and like all of those actors and actresses got together for that Zoom script reading, like do stuff like that. Like if it's actually not going to be put into major production and you've taken your time to like write a script and like storyboard it out, like, look, let's just get a Zoom. Let's just get some of our buddies. We get parts and we just read the script and just put it online for people.
Like how Tarantino did with Hateful Eight?
Yeah. And let's just have a good time for the people. And we just do a script reading, table reading for it. Like
That would be cool to get something like that. It's like low key. That's just like the read, not really produced.
Yeah.
But that would be rad.
Or
I like
also,
it.
if you have content that's already made and you know you're not going to make money off of it, just put it out.
Like Batgirl.
Yep. Yeah. That's what I was referring to.
But I don't know. That's complicated, I think. I'm not sure. I don't really know the inner workings of it all. But Josh, what's up? What's up, buddy? What you doing over there? Working?
ChatGPT.
What are you, TikToking?
Are you really?
ChatGPT and us out of a job.
What's the next item on this list, dude?
Next up, woolly mammoth meatballs.
Black guy talks
dude.
about
All
movies.
Eats spaghetti.
So you know how they're out here, they're making all this fake meat now. I eat a lot of it.
That's what my wife calls me,
Pescatarian.
fake meat.
There you go, buddy.
Speaks to a
there
bigger
is
problem.
there is a company that has produced a meatball
Of the woolly mammoth.
of woolly mammoth meat. Like they've grown it. So they've used the DNA of woolly mammoth and they have produced
Just
a
the
meatball.
protein based.
Okay. So
It's a woolly mammoth meatball.
Put some barbecue sauce.
So,
Like, guys,
It's a meatball.
I don't think I need to say more than that. However, it's
And they
just
said they're
sitting
scared
there.
to eat it.
Yeah, they're not going to eat it
Eat it.
because that protein has not been introduced into a human diet.
in thousands of years, yeah.
So
It's
what?
gonna get dicey in a long time. So they don't know what the repercussions are
What, diarrhea?
of a human eating it. Now I feel like there has to be a way, like synthetically, to like break this down. Get ChatGPT involved. I don't know. Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
You got to be able to like sequence some things and be like, oh, what happened? Like, what's going to happen if like you take this and ingest it here? Like, we got to be able to figure that out without actually doing it.
Here's my
But-
problem.
Go ahead. Scientifically, right? These scientists have produced this protein-based meat from whatever type of DNA.
Woolly mammoth.
But they had to combine it with other types of DNA to make it grow.
the meatball was made of sheep cells inserted with a singular mammoth gene called myoglobin.
So it's just sheep meat. Like just
So let me ask you this question.
put some mozzarella sauce on
What's
it.
it gonna take?
I mean, not mozzarella.
What's it gonna take for you
marinara
to
sauce.
eat it?
Me nothing. Give me that joint on a sub.
You'll eat it for free?
What? Yeah. Yes.
No money down.
Probably the right texture too.
All right.
when it comes to meat, myoglobin is responsible for the aroma, the color, and the taste, says James Ryall, Val's chief scientific officer.
Sounds legit.
That joint probably tastes delicious.
All right, you're doing it for free. So
It's
this
probably
question,
delicious.
I have a question. So, just
done.
follow me. Can a vegan eat this?
That was a question I was going to ask,
Because
and that's a great
no
question.
animals were harmed in the making of
I
this
think
meatball.
so. Yeah.
Let me up you one here. Since the mammoth's DNA sequence obtained by Val had a few gaps, African elephant DNA was inserted to complete it. So we're talking sheep, mammoth, elephant.
So
But
now,
getting back to your question and your answer, sorry.
But I think like the whole concept really is that if something had to die or lose its life for you to have this like experience or whatever, I think that's like the main hang up. Now, I'm not like a vegan per se.
Mm-hmm.
I'm loose on it. Pescatarian. So
Mm-hmm.
like
Screw the animals, especially the ones that swim.
basically, if you're under the water, dude, toast. And you know, this is very simple. This is more like
Drop
I'm not
a
eating.
car battery in
I'm
the
not
lake.
eating chicken, pork, or beef, so it's pretty
Right.
straightforward. I'll do broths or whatever because I don't want to get like sick if I ever accidentally eat something that's not straight up, you know, whatever
Yeah.
vegetarian, pescatarian,
What
whatever.
you doing?
So I'm good with it. If you can take DNA from something and grow something else, I'm here for it. That doesn't bother me.
So,
But, you know,
so technically, this is vegan but not vegetarian. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a good call. Wow.
It's vegan but it's not
Wow.
vegetarian.
What are you doing?
I mean, I think that's the main hang up with vegans. I
Sure.
could be
Yeah.
wrong. You'd have to do
Sure.
the science
know.
on
I
it.
mean,
But I think
I
that's
don't.
the
I
Me and
make
the
it a
vegans
point
don't-
not to associate with any
Do we know-
vegans. So
do
I
me and
don't
the
know.
vegans
I was about to say, do we
vibe.
know any vegans?
I don't.
Catherine.
because I think vegan is like anything that's like anything
any
that's
animal
animal
product.
based. Like you
I saw
can't
her
even have
recently, too.
honey. Like you can't even if it comes from an animal. Like
Yeah.
if it's whatever, right? So
Yep.
yeah, I don't know. I think you're good though in that case. I could be wrong. I think if it's just DNA,
Man, drop some
'Cause
marinara sauce
DNA
on that. Throw it on a whole
and
wheat.
this is we're gonna run way over with this concept, but is DNA is like doesn't have to be a tangible like physical thing. Like it's data.
Right.
Yeah, you
Right?
technically
Yeah.
don't need to have horse DNA
you could
to have
source it.
horse DNA.
You could source it once.
Yes.
And then
It
from
can be
that
replicated.
one DNA strand, that data, you're replicating it for generations.
Yeah, it's
right.
code.
In
It's code.
ChatGPT.
And you
right.
don't have to kill anybody to take it.
Nope.
No.
Right? So it seems as if like, I don't know, dude, you solved the vegan problem.
But I'll tell you, I would kill for a mammoth meatball.
there you go, dude.
Give me a mammoth
You don't even
prime
have
rib.
to kill though for one anymore.
Sure, no,
You're
I'm telling
good.
you, but I
They've
would,
got one,
right?
and you guys can eat it.
The
To be clear,
meatball,
I'd
which
kill the mammoth.
the meatball, which has the aroma of crocodile meat, is currently not for consumption.
Yeah,
So
they're keeping your hands off of it
to
too.
all of this,
They've got
so
a big bell jar over
right.
it too. I've seen it.
if killing of animals is the primary contention for vegans, why can't we just make synthetic meat?
We
can.
do, dude.
It's
do.
yeah.
Beyond,
No, we
like
do.
beyond or impossible.
Like yeah, but like this apparently
Those are
is
all
like
vegan.
they're all vegan, and it's more like what is it like soy protein?
Soy, yeah.
Right. This meatball is like actual like meat
Yes,
grown
correct.
from another animal.
Yes,
Yeah.
Why
got it.
can't you just make more synthetic meat made
Well,
from other
that's
animal
been
DNA?
the thing.
They're doing it.
Yeah.
It's a cost thing, right? So we just have to like cost for scale, all that. It's just a little young in that science.
It's a little more
It's-
expensive.
that science is kind of in its infancy. They've done it, like they've grown like steaks or whatever. Like they have done that, but it's expensive.
Yeah, it's like several $1,000s per ounce.
Yeah.
Because
You would
But
never do that.
That will come down with time.
Right.
And in the future, it is very likely that like you're
get
gonna,
space
you're
meat.
gonna eat, grown meat. It's
Now,
very
is
likely.
that beef from space, or do we have to send the cow to space to come back? So many questions. Moving on.
Let's do it. What's up?
Clayface confirmed for the Batman 2.
Oh, you added notes.
Ooh, I was on my job.
Oh my gosh, dude.
The pudding.
We've got like 90 seconds.
Yeah, Matt Reeves came out and said Clayface is confirmed. Shout out my boy Reggie sent me that. Is confirmed for the Batman 2, which then sparked a lot of fireworks in my brain because Matt Reeves has gone on record as saying he wants his Batman to be very grounded and as unscience fiction as it can. So he's got this very much reimagining of the villains as like serial killers and Batman as a detective hunting these serial killers. Clayface is very much based in science fiction. So how are we moving away from that now?
Sure.
And it's Clayface is going to be like a guy who was an experiment and
Yes.
he's a mudman and can do whatever he can be people and do whatever he wants. Or is he actually going to take motivation from different serial killers to implement some type of characterization with a person that can change their face?
He's just going to have a deformed face.
yeah,
It'll be simple. It's
Deformed-
like Bane in
probably
The Dark
deformed
Knight
face,
Rises.
and because he can emulate other things, he'll be a serial killer with a nondescript MO.
Yeah.
So he'll take serial killer styles from Jack the Ripper, Ted Bundy.
Yeah,
that type of
I see
person,
that.
yeah.
Maybe he makes faces in some type of advanced technology. I can see that face-off type of technology. I don't see him being a clay man.
But this also screams James Gunn said, no, you can't have these villains. We're going to take them for what we're doing over here. But these are the ones you can't have.
There was also talk of Mr. Freeze, too, as well. So it's just interesting for this type of Batman universe where like this Clayface could absolutely exist with the Zack Snyder verse with that Ben Affleck Batman. But
I don't think it's a far stretch, dude.
You don't think so?
No. I think this is 100% just like somebody who has a deformed face.
Okay.
I think this is a serial.
I'm fine with that.
This is a serial killer that's just got a deformed face.
And they call him Clayface.
Yes, 100%.
What's-
This is I feel like they're just gonna play this
And he has a room of
super
like
low
clay molds of his victims or something like that.
Yeah, like there's
It'll
so
be something
many
very practical.
Yeah, this is. I think they keep it very, very grounded. I get it. I get what you're saying. Given who Clayface has been in prior iterations, I just feel as if they're just gonna keep this really grounded. It's like it's like you can make Catwoman just like cats. You don't have to like actually give her ears. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or like make her drink
Like
milk.
the Cats movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Creepy.
That was so bad.
Yep.
It's a classic, dude. What else is on this list, baby?
Spider-Verse.
Oh, so there's apparently
Do tell.
a short 30-minute Spider-Verse film from Sony that's going to the Josh, please correct me, the NSC
I knew you were going to ask that, and I was also wondering the
NSC
same
Film
thing.
Festival.
NSC.
That's going to be a prequel film to Into the Spider-Verse 2.
Okay.
So it's going to kind of fill in the gap
Like a little
of
prologue.
1.5.
yeah,
Correct.
Kind of,
1.5.
yeah, like a
little prologue.
Into the Spider-Verse 1.5, a little 30-minute
fun.
film. Yeah, so they're really leaning into their Black Spider-Man. So that's
great.
Cool. Yeah.
I love it.
dope.
Yeah.
It's dope.
I'm excited for it. I feel like same thing that I've always complained about. A little bit of a wait in between the two.
Yeah, long. That was one of our first episodes. Was like Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
the
I
first
think we
one.
could.
That was almost 4 years ago.
I feel like we should have had it by now, but it's
Absolutely.
all good. It is what it is.
And then we did follow up and see how many man hours went into creating that first one. I feel like they could have like cut that in half and like got the same type of work.
I don't know. Anything else?
Jonathan Majors.
Back into
Arrest.
controversy, baby.
We would be
man.
remiss if we didn't talk.
And then there's
about-
also Vanderpump Rules. That's the last thing on there. So you can kind of choose.
You want to save it for your wait list, watch list, and we can get through that. Can we do 15 minutes and get out of here?
Yeah, I might need to change a card though.
All right, let's just run as fast as we can.
We've swapped the card,
Excellent.
and now our only problem is we have a lot of runway now.
Oh man.
Normally I try to restrict the.
roll
I
it
try
back
to
to the top.
I try to restrict it to one card, but now we're.
Speaking of TikTok, let me tell you about Zoom.
Yeah, dude. It's gonna be the
Well,
world's.
since we have time,
It's gonna be the longest episode we've ever done. No one's gonna
You know
listen
how I
to
feel
it.
about Microsoft Teams?
But you're right. The Jonathan Majors thing needs to get talked about.
Yeah.
Is that was the next thing on the list?
Jonathan Majors.
Jonathan Majors.
Today is Wednesday. This came out Saturday that he was arrested for alleged assault against his girlfriend.
Was it confirmed that it was his girlfriend, or was it just like a girl?
that's one of the many things that are different about this story.
Yeah.
Some reports are it's his girlfriend. Some reports are it was just a girl that he was an acquaintance with.
Just choked him out.
Some reports are like this was his wife almost. Like, so like
Yeah.
and but so he was arrested on Saturday. Apparently it happened on Friday, and then the charges were sequentially dropped on Monday. She went on record and recanted her story, and now it's over.
That's because Disney came through with a big old
They
check.
said one of my group chats said Kevin Feige was like, "What's her Zell?"
Dude,
Yeah,
the
man.
mouse showed up with a blank check.
Yeah, man. I
Said we got to solve this.
this is a very layered type of incident, right? Like, like
Just go ahead.
unfortunate.
Just go.
Like, you got to be careful, man. You got to be careful. Like, you're one of the premier black faces in Hollywood right now, and You know, you can't be like having alleged stories of beating up white women, bro. Like you cannot. You can't, bro. Like that's not the what you want.
My understanding is that part of what makes this a complex issue. I mean, beating somebody up, never a great look.
You don't beat people up.
But what adds a layer to this of intrigue is that there's other reports apparently of him not being like the most rad dude.
That too, like there's so many,
which kind of surfaced at the same time.
The director for the indie film that he worked on apparently was like, this is like, he is, I'm glad now it's coming to light that he's just not like a good person. And then there was, I seen a thread of, apparently there was a student that was his peer at Yale. And they were like, y'all didn't know he was a sociopath? Like then, like.
Which seems a little odd, not to discredit anybody, but you have to imagine that there's somebody at Disney who is vetting people a little bit.
They have to.
When they're going to make an investment like that. There's got to be somebody who's doing
to make this the face of our franchise.
A soft background check.
Hard background check.
Right. I'm assuming it would be a hard background check. It's got to be at least something.
They're combing tweets. They're like, they're doing everything. Like, I can't believe like combing tweets is like part of your background.
Are we believing the reports? Are we thinking that they're fabricated to an extent? I mean, there's a lot of them, so it seems like there must be more than meets the eye here.
I think here's the thing for me, when a lot of something comes out after either a very good thing or a very bad thing happens to somebody, I kind of gotta, like, you kind of gotta sift through the wheat and the tare in that situation, because when so much stuff happens at once, it's like someone here is telling the truth.
It's also very easy to talk bad about someone that did something bad or allegedly did something bad, right? Like if, God forbid, a peer of ours were to do something and we know them as not so great of a person, right? Like it would be very easy for us to say, yeah, I mean, he was a dickhead. He's always been, you know what I mean? But in some regard, I just don't think that that's fair, because if they were always, you should have spoken about them being this way before that happened, so people can be aware.
But what if they were? Like, I've not done a deep dive on this, but said director of indie film, has he ever spoken about him before in this manner and we just weren't listening at the time because he wasn't the face of a Marvel franchise, and now it's just relevant?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because I don't know. I've not done like the research or the deep dives here. Are there people in the past that have been like, oh yeah, he's been a piece of shit forever. We've been saying this for years. It's just finally now everybody knows who he is. Because truthfully, 5 years ago, I didn't know who he was.
No clue.
And if somebody was like, oh, so-and-so is a terrible person back then, I would be like, okay, great. I mean, there's a lot of terrible people.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think about it.
Yeah.
I just find it odd that, like, as he's on this meteoric tear of Hollywood, that, like, this happens. Not to say that it didn't happen or it did happen. Like
this type of situation happens. Like just the optics of it, the optics, the stories, the layering, just none of it.
Like none the way it happens, we have the most minimal information that you can get on a situation like this.
And then she recants her story just out of the blue.
But that all makes sense, though. I mean, there's a lot of PR teams here. I mean, you got the the House of the Mouse, baby, and the PR teams are working overtime right now. If anybody's going to crush, anyone's going to crush a story, it's going to be these guys. Because again, once that report dropped, and like once the initial news came out, I never heard any follow up on it. I mean, it wasn't like anybody was over. Nobody clarified what happened. I never got a name of a person.
We don't even know what she looks like.
Yeah,
there was like
I don't even know the relation.
There was a picture on Twitter of like, this is the girl. Like, but are we even supposed to like how, you know what I mean? Like, is it her? Like, we can run with it and be like, yeah, that's her. But like,
we don't even have a mugshot for him.
Yeah, we don't even like.
And there's got to be one, right?
Yeah, we could be
yeah,
conspiracy
he was
theorists and
booked.
say, did this ever really even happen? You know what I mean? Like all of this happened so fast and got brushed under the rug in a matter of 48 hours.
That's what I'm saying, dude. There's
Yeah.
teams hard at work right
Yeah,
now
that's-
downplaying this
have to
2D
be.
Max.
Have to be.
yeah.
You know,
Quantumania in
you know
theaters.
who's really excited about this situation? Ezra
Ezra
Miller,
Miller.
baby.
Yes.
He's loving every moment of this. He's
Yeah.
back on top.
He's like, they're gonna let me out halfway
right.
house now.
Dude.
Like,
He said, if he can,
yeah.
That's right.
What?
if he
He's
can, I
back.
can.
He's back to his old ways right now. Nobody's even
Speaking
paying
of the
attention.
background checks,
You got
I'm
something?
not bringing new information
Oh,
here. I've
something
just
you
been
wanna tell
thinking
us?
the same thing.
Yeah.
No.
Nah, he started twitching reading that story. Like, I gotta get back outside.
He was like,
I gotta
the
get
spotlight shifted, baby.
Let me out. He said the villains are on a rise.
That's right. What's the next item on this list?
Last item is Vanderpump Rules.
What about it?
Reunion
Did you
filming
add
in
this?
2 parts.
Yeah, so
This has happened already.
yes, it
Yes.
did happen, and apparently it got a little messy, so they had to shoot it in 2 parts.
Well, so I think that they shot the 2. So I can be grossly mistaken here. The 2 parts has to do with the fact that
They didn't wanna-
Sheena and Raquel have restraining orders against one another.
Yes.
So they couldn't both be in the same room at the same time. So they had to film 2 parts so that one could be present for one and then the other could be present for the other.
crazy.
That's my understanding. I'm speaking very softly. I don't want to upset my wife. She's in the other room. And if she hears me talking Vanderpump Rules,
She's coming in there.
She's going to be
She'll
out
sit
here and
right
she's going to
there.
be kicking Josh in the face to get that mic away from him. But that's my understanding of it. And with the reunion shows, also, they generally do multiple parts intentionally. I would imagine that the Vanderpump Rules reunion will be 2, 3, 4 episodes in length. They generally like to break those up. Like a lot of 90-day reunions are 3 episodes, like literally, like they'll just have multiple parts. But yes, my understanding is, according to my wife anyway, a lot of drama on that set.
Yeah.
A lot of I'll tell you what, dude, the Vanderpump universe is a wild time. She was like pulling up accounts of people that were like other fans that were like outside where the reunion was filming.
What?
And she was like watching their like Instagrams or TikToks and getting like the behind the scene footage from like girls on the ground or guys on the ground that are like actually there, like
VPs on the
following them, like after, like,
The
and then she's like
investigative
listening.
TikTokers.
So like there was like one thing where somebody was like filming like Tom outside of like outside of where they were filming the reunion, and like everybody was like trying to dissect the audio of what he was saying. Like it's
He was just
deep,
ordering
dude.
Chipotle.
Somebody on their iPhone
We're over
from
here
like
worried about TikTok being
yeah.
a problem.
somebody's over here on their
It's the
iPhone
Vanderpumpies.
filming Tom Sandoval from like a block away on their iPhone. And my wife's in the other room, like Sherlock Holmes, trying to decipher
She's got the
what
Charlie
exactly
Day
they're
meme with
saying.
the board.
Breaking it down.
Just all Vanderpump information.
Yeah.
She's like, I gotta get it together.
It's a wild time.
Here we are worried about China.
I guarantee
Right.
you another Vanderpump
Special is coming.
special is coming for sure. It's that fan base is rabid.
Got a lot of feedback about that show.
Rabid,
Watching
bro.
us just sit back having no clue about what the information is.
I am.
Like commenting
I
on
have
it.
gone through. I made a deal. It's very one-sided. I made a deal with Emily where I would watch Vanderpump Rules if she finished Andor. I felt like
That's fair.
she got the better of that deal for sure.
Oh yeah, and
She,
better.
dude, she refuses to like acknowledge that Andor is good. We're 3 episodes in.
It's great.
Dude, she refuses. I've never heard somebody bitch and complain so much during a show. That's great to begin with. Like, she acts as if I'm like torturing her or something. Meanwhile, I've been a straight up champ about this Vanderpump Rules marathon I'm on right now. She cannot wait. She gets so excited, so stoked when Vanderpump, like, when she comes home, she's like, going to watch Vanderpump? I'm like, fine.
You're starting from the beginning.
Start from the beginning. So
10
I
seasons,
watched.
You're gonna have gray hair.
I
by the time
watched-
it's over.
This is, however, one show that is like a straight 10 episodes, which is great. I watched season 2, like, I feel like a year ago almost. We were going to do an episode on Vanderpump Rules back in the day. We were going to do it. You were going to watch season 2. I was going to watch season 2.
We did talk about that. In another,
Yes, because this whole
I
phenomenon.
was told I need to watch it a few years ago.
Yeah,
and
this whole
tried to get me on board
This
too.
whole phenomenon.
and now they're in
happened.
season 10. Like, how did that much?
or rather, watched it all. I see it all on Hulu.
Yes, of course.
Josh winks at us.
It's actually all on.
It's all on my Hulu.
It's all on Peacock, man.
Hulu. HOOLEW.
Can I tell you real quick? Ryan Levin called it Julu for a while. Josh,
It's got to be racist.
Love Ryan. Shout out to Ryan.
The boy. The boy.
and I think if you actually go in and look at it, it's still the server is still called Julu.
Oh my God.
Somewhere out there. Anyway, I'm kind of whispering about Vanderpump. I don't want to excite anybody. I think at some point this is going to pop back up for us in a very real sense. I've not watched the current season, but I've started season
Bravoverse, man. Can't
I've
escape
started
it.
season 2.
I'm going to be
It's decimated my watch list.
somehow it's going to be like presented in my household.
Yeah.
Right now, Chanel's on the Housewives of Miami kick. So I'm seeing the progression of the Housewives of Miami. Like how they like go from like what they look like in like, you know,
How they go from being housewives here to housewives there.
to what they are now, and like seeing like early Larsa Pippen and like new Larsa Pippen, like
Yeah.
two
Gotta-
totally different people.
Dude, I gotta speak in hushed tones.
Yeah, we can't talk loud about Housewives.
Dude,
Bravoverse.
Emily's she's gonna pop up out of the corner somewhere.
I'm gonna be leaving, and she was like, "So you've been watching Housewives of Miami?"
She's gonna levitate in from the other room. All right. Was that the last item?
That's the last news item. Watch
Okay.
list is the only other
so
thing.
my
here.
watch list is not solid.
Bare
It's
bones. It's
pretty
okay.
pretty bare bones. Because like I said, I've been in the Vanderpump cyclone of despair.
Despair.
I'm through season 1. Started season 2.
How many seasons? How many episodes per season?
Mandalorian, watched that. I think 10.
It's not that
10.
bad.
Watched Mandalorian. I thought it was ironic that I made my plea the last episode about getting Grogu a little bit up to speed. And this episode literally spent like 10 minutes on him learning some things,
That was good, right?
which is good. It's more about him applying those things. I feel like he should know these things, and which he kind of does, right? Because he really beat that kid up, all things considered.
Let me ask you a question.
He was holding back, and then he kind of like,
I appreciate the Grogu aesthetic, but in are you ready for like? I'm ready for CGI Grogu. Like this little like walking puppet is. I'm over it.
I'm fine with the puppet.
It just looks very
It
slow
has to.
me.
It has
Like,
to, though.
It's a puppet. Like
I
it's
think
very
it has to.
It's like stop motion.
The problem is, once you introduce it as a puppet, as soon as you transition it to CGI, you'll know.
you can do. I think you can do both.
I
Though
don't think so.
It's Disney. They can do
We gotta
whatever
get
they want.
ChatGPT on
No,
this.
they can't.
I'm sorry. What? I don't
They
watch this
can't.
show.
Disney can make a carbon copy clone of me and
No.
sit me here next week, and you would never know the difference. They can do it.
No. This
Another copy of you?
Dude,
We're on our like sixth one.
they've done
We're on the
this.
sixth one. We can't keep doing this.
They've done this already. They did this with Yoda, and there was
Yeah, and I
backlash.
liked it way
Everybody
more.
hated it. No,
I like CGI Yoda way better than
Is this like the two different
You're-
Alvivs thing?
you're the outlier, bro.
because I think you can do both. And
You're
like
the only person that's like, give me CGI everything.
yeah,
Yeah, you're the only one.
if you're gonna spend the right amount of money to do it, don't skimp and give me like
They'll Moon Knight it.
yeah, don't give me She-Hulk CGI. Give me the $500 million CGI and like just make
No.
it. Yeah,
No, they've got that little Grogu puppet, and it's working
he's
wonders.
flipping.
for 'em.
He looks like he's on a fish hook, flying up in the air. Like,
Yeah, that's
oh.
I'm just
This
most
is like Labyrinth.
most Star Wars people, and I'm not even a Star Wars person. Most Star Wars people love that because that feels authentic.
authentic, yeah.
That feels accurate to Star Wars. When you saw Yoda in whatever it was, episode 3 or whatever, and he was like nimble and jumping around and doing all this crazy stuff, and he was like super CGI and it looked like a video game. It looked weird. It still looks weird. It looks weird today. So I think with the Grogu thing, no matter what you do, you could bring James Cameron in on it. No matter what you do, it's going to look weird. It's just going to look different.
Don't let James Cameron anywhere near Star Wars.
Well, if you bring James Cameron in, you're not going to get that episode for for some years.
Dude, you're not going to get it for like 10 years and it's going to be 6 hours long. Yeah. Did you see, you didn't watch the new Avatar, did you? It's out now.
Is it?
Yeah, it's out on Disney, baby.
Oh, let me put in my FMLA so I can watch it.
The 28th. It came out on Disney Plus, 28th.
Oh, wow. No, I didn't know.
I'm still not going to watch it.
It's so long. It's a Saturday.
I got to watch it. It's on Disney Plus. If you're not going to watch it when it's on Disney Plus, why do you have this subscription?
You guys want to do a viewing?
I'm not opposed to that.
Why? So. Like, why have this subscription?
I got to be honest. I haven't seen the first one.
I don't know if you have to. I've seen some clips now that it's out. Everyone's posting like goofy clips online and stuff. It looks
That's
pretty hilarious.
That's a mean 3 hours though. But like, I don't know if I have.
I just want to let you know if we watch it and it is not up to snuff, I'm spending the whole episode trashing it. The whole episode. No matter what topic we're talking about. If I could find a joke about that, I'm throwing it in.
We'll turn it off and we'll put Maverick on, baby.
Yes. Yes.
And we'll sit around and talk about banning TikTok.
The greatest movie of the last decade. Oh, man.
All right.
What was on my watch list?
What did you have?
You've got Snowfall.
A lot.
Swarm, Snowfall, Mandalorian.
All that's still going. We talk
NWO.
Oh, A&E is back with their new season of wrestling biographies. As everyone knows, I'm a big wrestling head. And like, I'm a lifer, what they call us. And NWO is...
Who's they?
The community.
Okay.
Yeah, the community. The wrestling community is called lifers. And NWO is in reference to a lifer.
Yes.
And they had their first, like, actual... I referenced an NWO documentary before.
Yeah.
But it wasn't sanctioned by WWE. And this one is actually, like, brought to you by WWE. And, like, they get...
a lot of money.
A lot. It's actually done, like, very, very well. And it was just cool. It was just very cool. And what else I had on there?
Shrinking, Snowfall.
Oh, Shrinking was good. I think that ended. We watched the last one last night. Finished Swarm, which was weird. Weird was good. It's like, you know, we talked about it, but then like, and I thought about you because the episode, I can't remember how many episodes, but the episode before the last one is a true crime parody of the entire season.
Jeez.
Yeah, which was, so everyone that acted as a character, they got new actors to portray the actors in the show for the true crime.
Yeah, somebody's got too much time.
Yeah.
That's a show where we can cut a couple episodes.
Yeah, it was.
I can tell you right now.
It was wild to
without
watch.
Having watched this.
It felt so off the rails that like you thought it was real for a second.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, but it was also confusing because you're getting, if you don't know sometimes you're like passively watching stuff, and if you don't pay attention and you don't know like a character's name and they're like referencing this character, you actually have to know all of their names because in this episode there's new actors portraying the character again, right? So it's just kind of gets a little confusing, but it was still good. It was still good. And that's it, I think. Right?
Oh my god, dude, this is like the longest episode we've ever done, bro.
You can do it in 2 parts. We can take some PTO next week if you want. Actually,
we
we can say we're doing the show, and then we can actually go do some man stuff.
Some man stuff. Some boys,
some boys to man stuff.
Some boys and man stuff.
Boys to men.
All right, are you good?
I'm great.
You wrapped
man.
up? All right, I love it. That's episode 52 in the books, dude. In the bag.
I love your Baltimore accent slipping out.
That's right.
Above 52.